All right, well, hello everybody. Good morning. Welcome to our Cyber Awareness Month. This event we have today is building a cyber strong America. Our topic is safe browsing and phishing. Before we begin, I would like to introduce our team. I'm Andreas Bailey.
I'm Kalani, Westfall.
I'm Gabriel, Valle.
And we have Kiinbej Terrazas with us. Our presentation may be a review for some of you, but we hope to dive deeper into the topics to give more clarification and provide you with information that you hopefully can leave with today to build a safer community for yourself and for those vulnerable to misinformation, such as family members like our elderly and our children, on how to keep them safe online and hopefully keep your inbox safe as well. Some of you may have heard this before. If you've been selected, congratulations. You're a winner. You got free money waiting for you. Click here. Or your account's been deactivated and you know you've done nothing wrong. Or you have a Amazon package waiting for you. They just don't know where to drop it off.
Right.
All those things are signs of phishing. So right now, phishing is one of the biggest problems that we have in cybersecurity. Is able to bypass a lot of walls that we have up to defend ourselves against it. And it's something that preys on, the goodness of people to fall into that trap and to, sometimes, it'll lead to a breach or installation of malware. So it's really important to know about phishing. Phishing is the number one vector of how threat actors attack cyber networks. Networks in general, whether that's infrastructure or just your own home network. So next slide. Oh, go back. So we have a little video that I want to bring to you guys. It's somebody that we all know. If you worked in cybersecurity before, there's always this one person in the work environment. So I'll let the video play away. Next. Yep.
If you got a virus on your computer, pretty sure it's my fault. I click on all sorts of shit. Get rich quick? Yes, please. Lose weight without working out? Duh, I want that. I might be pregnant? Finding out. You get a virus. You get a virus. You get a virus. You get a virus. Forward this picture or you'll die in 7 days. Yeah, you gotta forward that. Single farmers wanna meet you? Yeah. I want a $500 gift card? I didn't even enter. I know I shouldn't click on all this, but it's my guilty pleasure.
Nope, not in our house. Malware bites.
Yeah, so I
If you
came
got a
across
virus-
that ad while out, and I thought it was hilarious because, like I said, there's always one person that just clicks everything because they think that the network is secure, no matter what, like nothing would come their way. But as you can see, we have software to prevent that, and also that's a good way to get your account locked pretty fast, clicking on things. But we're gonna move on to some of the things that we have to defend ourselves, which are network security tools. And I'll pass it over to Kiinbej Terrazas to lead us through that.
All right, thank you guys. I'm also a cyber student like Andreas, and I'm going to talk about some network security tools and defenses that we have in place to protect us from hackers trying to steal our precious data. So first off, the holy grail, the VPN. VPNs. So you've gone to Starbucks, right? And you connect to public Wi-Fi. Well, that public Wi-Fi probably doesn't have a password. So someone can just see your traffic and they can potentially steal your passwords. That's pretty bad, I'd say. So a VPN will create a logical tunnel. It'll basically it'll put your data through another layer so that attackers can't see it. It'll give it like extra encryption. And so that is very useful because now they can't see your stuff, even if you're on public Wi-Fi. That's why it's used a lot. And, Alamo uses, if you've been an employee and you've asked for VPN, you've probably used Fortinet, FortiClient, stuff like that. HTTPS, so every website that you use, the traffic itself is encrypted so that it's an extra layer of security. And it also is used for websites to prove that, hey, I am alamo.edu, so that no one else can say, I'm alamo.edu, and try and steal your stuff. That's why if you're ever on a website, make sure that it has HTTPS, not just HTTP. And if you ever try, your browser will say, this is HTTP. I don't think you want to go here. Firewall. Firewalls have grown a lot since 2014, like the early days of cyber. They're now almost integrating AI basically to to detect suspicious traffic and block it so that it doesn't reach you. And it can block stuff like suspicious IP addresses, like suspicious locations, you know. If a Russian computer is trying to connect to your home network, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So a firewall will block it because it'll say, that doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, go to the next.
Yeah, we could go next slide. And then.
One.
So this is kind of an extension of what we were saying before. So one of the main things that this is talking about is when stuff is public, you need to have it prove itself, so to speak. So like a website needs to prove itself. So that's why it says use trusted sites, because you want websites that you know are authentic. Keep your browsers and extensions updated. That is very important because browsers can have vulnerabilities in them and attackers can take advantage of that and steal your data, even if everything else is up to date. Yeah, don't go to websites and download sketchy things, you know.
How do you know they're sketchy?
They're sketchy. Oh, we'll go on to that later on, but if a file is named Trojan.exe, that's, you know, that's one thing. But obviously, you know, go to trusted sites. That's the second thing. And the third thing is you can set on a Windows computer, whenever you download something, you can quarantine it first and then scan it with your chosen, you can right click it, scan with like Windows Defender, and it'll check if it's malicious or not. So that's what you can do for any file for that matter. And then using password managers and MFA. I don't know about you guys, but up until last year, I get my passwords on a sticky at my house. I think most people do that because it's just easier. That's how my grandma has her password and her banking account, and she uses the same password everywhere. Password managers make it easier to have different passwords and remember them without having to go through the whole path. If they, you know, hacker steals your password, but they don't have your phone, they can't get in. So MFA is a good extra layer of security.
So now we're gonna go into a little bit more technical detail on this part, just because it's very, very important to know the difference between HTTP and HTTPS. One of the easiest things you can tell on the difference between the two is looking in that top left corner. You see where it has like the two, what would you call that? That little circle right there next to the website. If you click on that, you can look at all the information like this certificate that the website has, so you know if it's secure or not. As we know, the organizational certificates are sent out or approved by the Internet Corporation for assigned names and numbers. And you can also see the other highlighted part, which is the expiration date. So it shouldn't have an expiration date. It should always be renewed before they expire. So that's a good way to check to make sure everything matches up, especially looking at the common name at the top. So this is all brought together by something called TLS, Transport Layer Security. So basically what it does is it goes to the server where you send a request to the server, and then TLS makes sure that it has a certificate. They shake hands, they share encryption keys, and then that whole connection is encrypted, sending information back and forth. So encryption means like it's not in plain text. You can't intercept it and easily tell what the information that you're sending back and forth with some kind of packet analyzer. So yeah. So it makes sure that there's no difference in the integrity of information, because you know that's what we're all about, the CIA triad. So the integrity of the information going back and forth is not altered. So that's one of the good things about HTTP and HTTPS. Do you want to go to the next one? Okay, so like you said, most browsers, especially if you're using Google, and you have all your safety features turned on. Like for instance, I tried to go to this Banan site. It's called actforever.com. This is the test website. But as you can see, I had a pop-up on the left side saying, the connection to this site is not secure. And it's actually, do you still want to go on? And it tells you what happens as well if it doesn't support a secure connection. You see, it says attackers can see and change information you send or receive. And then it saves to visit the site later if you're using a public network because it's like very, very risky. So TLS is not a part of HTTP. So therefore, like I said, it's very, very risky. But like I said, look for, if you're using HTTPS and HTTP, always look for that secure lock in the top left corner, lets you know that you have the proper website, it's secure, it's the easiest way to, tell the difference if you're using like a banking app or something that has sensitive information. So.
Scan the QR code.
Okay, and we're gonna go move to the next slide. Kiinbej, do you wanna go?
Okay. So, cookie session theft. We all think that we need our password and stuff to log in, but you have your accounts and you probably stay logged in, right? You close your browser and then you reopen it and you're still logged in. What your computer is doing behind the scenes is it has a cookie, basically a bunch of data saying, this is you, and you can keep logging in with this. So if an attacker manages to steal that piece, they don't even need your password. They can just put that in wherever they want and they just log in. So, and actually doing this with Roblox, which is how I found out about it. So that's why, if you get phished and they can steal your cookie, they just bypassed MFA, they just bypassed your password, they bypassed any security measures in place.
But they're my cookies.
Stealing really, really easily. An extension can steal it, malware can steal it. And cross-site scripting, that's just if you're on a website, someone put a malicious.
Keep them from stealing your cookies. They're in my cookie jar.
They're in your cookie jar. Just don't grant access to any extensions. Just make sure that any extensions you downloaded are saved. And also, one of the things of cyber now is a breach. Someone getting phished is kind of assumed. So check logins from different places because usually you'll get a notification. So if you see a login and it's like, one time I got a login that says someone in Nigeria in a Mac is trying to log into your phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I doubt that's me.
Auntie,
Yeah.
so close your stuff, you're saying? So
Yeah.
don't leave
Or
it
log
open
out.
on your
Yeah.
log out every
Yeah.
time. Oh.
Their cookies as well, clear cache, as well. Don't just leave a session open, because like I said, the longer the session is open, the more susceptible it is for, that kind of script attack. So also, another thing as well, a key feature about browsing online is if you have a suspicious link, the only thing you have to do is just hover your mouse over it. When you hover your mouse over a hyperlink, it tells you where it's really gonna go. So that's how you protect yourself from link
I didn't
taking
see that.
ads. Like I said, they can look very, very similar to the regular thing now. The only thing you look for that keyword, but you don't really pay attention to what you did, it gets you that way as well. So it's a tale of caution of really paying attention to those kind of things that are going on. So mostly if you are on official sites, if you typed it in yourself, didn't click on the sponsored link, but clicked on the actual Google link that's the right one, you can avoid that happening. Like I said, you also check the URL. You can also use strong passwords, two-factor authentication, keeping your devices updated. So just in case you do fall for this, it's protected against whatever that bad script is gonna be running on your computer. And also, if you think you fell for a bad link, check your bank account, call your bank, close your credit cards if you have to for the temporary time being. There's a lot of things you can do in your bank app that can stop it immediately, and you can get help with those transactions if you did fall for a bad link and you did put in your credentials into that bad website. So, and like I said, if you see another URL that's also too good to be true, don't click on it. It's definitely that has a saying for a reason. So we're gonna move on to something else they can use as well, which is a URL checker. So the URL checker, like Talos or VirusTotal, or just using Google Chrome, it has built-in safe browsing on there. And one of the cool things about using VirusTotal, if you're cybersecurity, is that you can get information about, is this website malicious or not? You know, instead of just using word of mouth, you get the actual information from the various network intelligence companies themselves. So you're gonna move to the next one. So this is an example of what I put in. This is something that can easily happen to anybody else. So you wanna go to chatgpt.com, right? Help with your homework, you know, make a little script or whatever you wanna do, but you fat fingered and you got chatpgt.com. So usually what happens is Google will try to pop up, you know, and try to help you, but sometimes you can't always guarantee that depending on what browser you have. So as you can see, VirusTotal is telling me, hey, you know, sec lookup is saying it's malicious. Alpha Mountain AI is saying, you know, suspicious. And also you can see on the community tab, yeah, there'll be other cybersecurity analysts that'll leave a note and say, hey, when I clicked onto this script ran. When I clicked onto this, you know, it redirected me to another website. So that's a tool you can use if you want to check if that website that you want to visit, that you got in the email or got some kind of way, is actually legit or not.
So you have to log into VirusTotal and then copy that other URL in
You don't
there.
have to log into VirusTotal. You can just search it by different ways. You can either do a file, you can do a URL, or you can just do a search itself.
Do I have to go to VirusTotal website?
Yeah, you just type in VirusTotal, Google search, or you can use Talos, like I said, as well. So you want to go to the next page. And this is what chatbgt.com looks like if you actually go to it. And you can tell it's obviously looks very, very different from the regular ChatGPT. But you know, we're all educated with chat. We grew up with ChatGPT, but there might be some elderly individuals or non-technical individuals or children that will fall for this. So this is what it will look like. It still says the things that someone might be looking for. Like it says online chat with AI, content writing in the chat bot. So yeah, but you can also see that Google did its job in the top left corner and asking, is this what you really meant to do? So yeah, so if you do click on that, it will take you to the right website. But like I said, sometimes you don't have Google Chrome. Sometimes you might have an old website, like a old browser like Internet Explorer from a legacy device that you might have to use to test browsing things like that, and it might not have these features. So just be aware. Just be aware of that. Let's see. And okay, so we'll go to the next slide. And okay, so this one is basically going into, if you have the two most popular browsers that are default on our computers, which is Microsoft Edge or Google Chrome, you can always go into the settings and turn on these features that will definitely help you. Sometimes they don't come on by default, especially the more strict security features on here, which is making sure you have a secure DNS or scareware blocker, or you know, block potentially unwanted apps. Sometimes those things don't come on by default, so you can go into Microsoft Edge, go into those settings and customize it to what you feel is best for you. And then there's also the same one on Chrome if you want to go to the next slide. So Chrome has the same thing as well, and they also have like an AI protection thing going on now. So AI is helping out. So if anybody has a question about what AI is doing, it's already helping you on the web, keeping you safe automatically. So it's very, very helpful. And okay, we're gonna go into our next network security tool that we were talking about earlier, which is the VPN. Kiinbej kind of described this already, but I feel like it'll be easier as well to get a visual because some people are visual learners. So as you can see, if you're on your device, say for instance at Starbucks or McDonald's, you know, using that Wi-Fi, you definitely want to connect to the VPN. Because the VPN is like gonna make that tunnel of encryption, so nobody else that has snooping, like a Wireshark or anything at McDonald's can see what you're doing. So, like I said, it goes to the VPN client, goes through the ISP, goes to the VPN server, That VPN server is what you always hear about, which is the ones that are like different countries, that you can use to bypass and watch your favorite shows on Netflix or Hulu or whatever in different countries. But it also has the feature of keeping you safe so no one locates where you're doing your work from. Because if they find out your IP, your actual IP, they can attack that address. Any malicious actors out there from China, North Korea, different countries, Russia, things like that. If you're a very important, high-ranking CISO or CIO, you know, you don't want to have your own IP address out there, especially on the public. That's a big no-no. So that's why a lot of big companies use the VPN. And there's a huge variety of enterprise VPNs. But we have ones for ourselves that we recommend generally. You want to go to the next slide? Which is Proton VPN. Of course, you heard of NordVPN, probably all on YouTube and all that stuff. And then if you want to use an alternate browser, Opera has it installed by default. So you don't have to pay for it. So if you want to use Google Chrome for your regular things, but then use Opera when you want to use VPN.
What about McAfee?
McAfee as well. McAfee has antivirus and also has a VPN service, I believe, as well. So yeah, there's a lot of different ones. Unfortunately, we weren't able to fit them all on there, but I just kind of keep it like the main well-known ones. And we'll go to, so the VPNs will keep you safe. So the last couple of things I want to touch on is advertisement. So as you all know, I know you guys seen this game before. Ray J, have you seen this game right here where you got to survive and you got to move the thing out the way in time or something's going to happen? You know, when you click on that, you don't know where it's going to go. You know, it could be the game itself, but it could lead you to some completely different website. And it's been known to do that because this is like the main copying, thing that they can use. Any actor can use this simple script and it makes it like a game. You click on it and take you somewhere else. You also have this big one right here on the right, which is the kids on the Play Store, looking for Roblox, free Roblox type stuff. That's a really popular game right now. And sometimes in these actual separate games themselves, they have pop-ups that are tricking children and trying to get them to use credit cards and things like that that's not supposed to be in those games. So yeah, you want to be careful with that. And also, as you see where Miss Barnett has the mouse set right now, you can also be led to something that looks like Google, but instead of double O's, it's two zeros. So, and you can see it definitely looks like a regular, login for Google, and that's how you can get your credentials stolen. So those little details like that, you got to really pay attention to. Because some of them are not as obvious as the other ones I pointed out. So. And the last one is what Kiinbej touched on. You want to talk about browser extensions and secret extensions?
Yeah.
It's pretty much right.
All right, yeah. So like I was talking about previously, browser extensions can steal your data because you're giving it a lot. Whenever you install it, it'll ask permission to do stuff. And depending on what you give it, it can access a lot of things. I don't know about you guys, but I hate light mode. I despise light mode. And some computers just kind of, the light mode, the dark mode just doesn't work. So there is a extension called dark mode. Well, one of these extensions was dark theme, and it was stealing people's passwords. It would just lay dormant until it saw the keyword password, and then it would say, "That's mine," and it would just grab it. And then yeah, other examples of it.
Yeah. So
So how do you know if it's a malicious extension?
So when you go to because usually you have to go through the browser's extension store,
Mhm.
check for ones that are like 4.5 and above rating and have at least more than like at least a thousand downloads, and just download like the top ones that you find on the internet, like Block Origin. Those are good.
yeah, and you always want to look at the latest, what the latest reviews are, because like I said, some of these, like Emoji Keyboard Online, Dark Theme, Unblock
Mhm.
TikTok, Unlock YouTube VPN, Volume Booster. Yeah, so those things are some of the extensions that they found that were actually malicious, found out to be malicious later on extensions. Reportedly, 1.7 million people installed these malicious extensions from the Chrome Web Store, and a total of 2.3 million users were affected. So what mostly happened with that is Google went in after it became a big deal and kind of cleaned a lot of that stuff up. But you also, like I said, you want to be very, very careful of what the extension is asking, or if the permissions have been changed. Like I said, some of the examples are capture the URL of the page they're visiting. They send it to a remote server along with a unique ID issued to track the user. And they receive potential redirects URLs from the command and control server. And it automatically redirects your browser if instructed by the command and control server to do so. So basically, they're secretly gathering your information. They could be sending you to the wrong websites just from stealing that data from your extension. So yeah, just be careful with those. Just kind of review them from time to time to see if anything has changed with those. It might be a little, really convenient to use those. But like I said, what we always say in cybersecurity, convenience and security, are opposites, So more convenient something is, the less secure it is. The more secure it is, the more hassle it is to kind of deal with. So, yeah. So don't get too comfortable with those extensions. You never know. But like I said, they're mostly cleaned up, but keep a lookout for it. The next thing we're gonna talk about is scams. Do you want to read what the scams mean?
So there's several types of scams. You got your phishing scams, tech support, online shopping, which I'm sure a lot of people like to click. Everybody loves shopping. You got your romance scams, your only farmers, your singles in near you, and your crypto and investment scams. Crypto is pretty big right now, so you could see why people would want to click it. There's always fake websites, pop-ups, even calls claiming they're these people, but they're really not. They try to trick you into giving your personal info, your address, your name, your mom's maiden name, promises of big returns for crypto investment scams, romance. Well, everybody's single. A lot of people are single looking for love, right?
Yeah.
How do you know it's a scam?
I would say stay single. That's what I.
Solution. I need the backup solution.
You gotta do FaceTime right now.
It's a new website, stacy.com.
Something wrong with there?
So actually, how to recognize phishing? Using secure websites, enabling browsers security features, avoiding suspicious links, ads, downloading from trusted sources only, and think before you click. Major thing, we gotta be kind of proactive about clicking these malicious websites and links. You just gotta be careful. I mean, most of the time they're pretty obvious. They use email, text messages, try to steal your passwords, account numbers, social security numbers. If they get that information, they have access to so much. Bank accounts, your emails, other accounts, Gmails, Rocket Mail, Yahoo. Or they could sell your information to other scammers, which is a big, right now it's like a really big,
Really big thing on the part.
yeah, it's really big on the dark web right now.
Industry.
Also,
I have a question. What happens if you don't notice the HTTPS or whatever and you get into a scam? Like, how do you, then what happens? Like, can you get out of?
So if you think you've fallen for a scam, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
If you think you've fallen for a scam, I would definitely check if it's at work. If it's at work, definitely follow the protocols that they have set for you. If it's like an email or a phone call or anything, forward that to your cybersecurity team so they can get into it and figure out what's going on. And also sometimes if it's a certain amount of money, law enforcement has to get involved. They try to figure out who or where this scam originated from so they can warn everybody. And that's how we get those kind of alerts, multiple people reporting it. So don't just delete those things when you get it, forward it or report it. the more we do it, the more it gets looked at, the more the priority it has for the community, the online community, and the more we can stop those scams from populating even more in the first place. But right now we have a short video about a romance scam that you guys may or may not heard of. If you want. Oh, sorry, this is Port Farwell, sorry.
Hi,
This is
I'm
how you
Rosario
report it.
Mendez, an attorney with the Federal Trade Commission, and today I'm going to tell you how to report scams at reportfraud.ftc.gov. But first, let me tell you why it's so important to report frauds and scams. Every time you file a report with the Federal Trade Commission, you are helping us build cases, stop scammers, and also alert others about the current trends. And now it's a lot easier to report fraud at reportfraud.ftc.gov. The first thing that you do to report a scam or a bad business practice is to go to the website reportfraud.ftc.gov and you click on the Report Now button. The site will ask you a few questions like, is your report about any of these common problems? That's to narrow down what your report is about. You can report any scam, fraud, or bad business practice that you've spotted. Today, I'm going to report an impersonator scam. In my case, it was a tech support scam. So I'll first select an impersonator, and then I'll click that somebody was pretending to be a well-known or trusted business. And then I'll click continue. And then I'll just fill out a few more details. Did the company offer tech support services? Yes. Did you send the scammer payment of any kind? Yes. How much money did you pay the scammer in total? I'm gonna say $99. How did you pay or send the money? Credit card? Was it an automatic recurring charge or subscription? No. When did you most recently pay or send money? I'm gonna say August 10th. How did you first hear about it? I'm gonna say website. Name of the company, I'm gonna make up the company. Name of the person, if you talk to anybody, put name there. Describe what happened. This is the opportunity to put in your own words what happened to you. Press continue again. Now I'm going to enter my contact information. That way I can help if someone needs more information about what happened. But you can give as much or as little information as you like. Name, address, phone number, and then hit submit. You'll get a report number and also tips on what to do next. If you gave us an email, you will get an email with this information as well. And that's it. That's how easy it is to report fraud. Scammers don't just scam one person. So if you detect a scam, help your community, help protect your friends, your family by reporting it to the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov. Thanks for watching and thanks for reporting fraud.
All right, like you said, straightforward, go to fraud, .gov. And like I said, you can just easily go through that form. Even if you don't know the person's real name, you can still put the name they used on you instead of, and if it's not a company, so, if you got time, definitely do that. It helps more than you think. All right, so we're gonna getting closer toward the end. So we're just gonna go over social engineering. And I will lead with this next slide. You know, seen this before? No? That's how it works. That's how it works, honestly. That's how it gets around. There's, like I said, I want to prey on the goodness of the individual to be tricked. And sometimes people can be very stubborn and they don't think it happened to them. So it can happen to anybody, even some of these really specific types of phishing that we're gonna bring up, it can be so detailed that you would believe that you wrote it yourself. Kiinbej's gonna go over a little bit of the phishing in a little bit more detail. We haven't alluded to it first, but I just wanna really brush over the phishing because like I said, it's the #1 attack vector in cybersecurity. So if you leave with anything, remember that.
Back to phishing. So the thing about phishing is we've described a lot of complex attack methods of how hackers can steal your stuff. Phishing is just easy. A lot of the times they're not really gonna make a very complex fake email. They're just gonna say, hey, click here. Because a lot of times these are just people, like these are like massive sweatshops in other countries that are just making thousands, if not millions of calls or emails a day. And as long as they get like 1 or 3 people with like big accounts, that's good enough. So that's why phishing is so important because it's just easy. Most of the time, they're just going through the easy way out because if they actually wanted to work, they'd get a job. But we can go ahead. And then, so what phishing is, phishing refers specifically to fake emails that are trying to get you to give sensitive information, usually accounts, passwords. That's the #1 thing they want. So different types of phishing, some can come in through SMS, some can come in through calls or social media messages if you have any. For example, my family members, every single one of my family members has gone in phished through voice calls. And that's the kind of thing we're gonna prevent with this presentation. Yeah, they're trying to get you to click on something, malware, or just straight up. So we get a lot of phishing from on our Alamo student emails, right? One of the ones I've seen is they'll just straight up give you a form and say, what's your password? They're just setting up a Google form. This is nothing new. It's so basic. It works as long as it works on like 2 or 3 people. And usually they try to look convincing, but other times you can spot the fish a mile away. So can we go next one? And then, okay, so for you guys that are in cyber and trying to get your security plus, this is pretty important to know. There's different types of phishing. Spear phishing, that is a targeted attack against one person. That is the more convincing ones. They'll usually it's because they know more info about you. And this is something that not everyone is gonna do. This is I personally haven't been spear phished yet. Business email compromise is when a phish does go through and they get a hold of a business email. It's pretty bad because I trust my professor's business emails. They could easily send me malware and I wouldn't even know. Smishing, what a creative way. Phishing, but on text messages. Very creative. Phishing, but through a phone call, through voice. But these are all terms that they use in exams that you're gonna have to do. Farming, just redirect people to bad websites. Redirect people from google.com to g00glut.com. And then baiting, people will leave USBs out with malware. So, let me see what this does. Like the first lady that we saw in the video. And whaling, I did not mention that. Whaling is when you go after someone important. So like, let's say I go after the dean because I want their password or, president.
And I also want to iterate that, on these spear phishing and whaling, they are looking up information that is free to find on the internet. So that's how they build a profile around these certain individuals. They'll look at the government website, corporate website, look and see who the roster is, who the CEO is, look at his LinkedIn, find out what his hobbies are, what his favorite, things to do, who he hangs out with, and make that very tailored, especially with AI. They can impersonate voices. If they heard it in a YouTube video or any kind of presentation, they can take that voice, make it sound very convincing, like it came from the actual top level executive themselves, saying, hey, we need this right now. We need this transfer to this contractor right now, to this vendor right now, to this account. Don't worry about telling the CEO because he already gave me permission. And this is the account number. We need it done ASAP. So yeah, they if you have important documents at home, how many people have a shredder at home? Okay, definitely wanna need a shredder, preferably like a diamond cut shredder. If you can find one on Amazon or, or wherever you find, different kind of shredders, those are the ones that are gonna cut up those, important documents that have PHI, PII on it to where you can't piece it back together. Because if they really wanna get you, they'll go through your trash. That is one of the biggest ways to find information. You don't shred your medical documents, if you don't shred your credit card statements, they're gonna find out that you got this, they're gonna blackmail you. You got this health condition, they're gonna blackmail you. If you got a large amount of debt, they can blackmail you and compromise you. So yeah, it's so really important to know about that type of phishing because one day you could be the CIO, the CISO of those companies, and you wanna take those precautions. You can start now. So, like I said, the anatomy of a phishing email, we kind of talked about it already. Hover over the links that they got odd tone or grammar that doesn't seem like right English, correct English. That is a red flag. And if you just got an unexpected email from somebody you don't even actually know. Another detailed slide. These are the ones I got from the Alamo website itself. So you can look this up on the Alamo College District on how to spot phishing scams. Like I said, our biggest ones are the ones with Bank Mobile or financial aid office saying you got some money, just click here, or the IT department saying your account's been compromised. And these are the instructions if you do suspect a phishing email, you can call the Alamo College Police Department, and then you can also call Bank Mobile if you had some issues with that, or you feel like your account is compromised. So there's the phone number there, so you can find that on the Alamo College website. Question: is this a phishing email? Yes or no? If you think it's a phishing email, raise your hand. Okay, we got a good amount. And who thinks it's not a phishing email? Okay, we got one. You are correct. It is not a phishing email. This is actually an email I got. So this is kind of tricky. I just want to put it up there because it's very, very tricky. Because it says mom, and that was my mom's account. But you can also tell because it says you can't see it, but it actually has the real phone number of that was there. So, and you want to go to the next one. So this one. It's very, very similar. That is the phishing email. You see how similar they can look? It's very, very hard to tell. You gotta really, really pay attention. So I just want to put that out there as like a preview. Next one. Let's see. We kind of talked about this already, the common social engineering tricks. So we can go to the next one.
Yes.
So this is something that happened in the news not too long ago. This is that thing I'll talk about with the romance scam phishing. So if you want to play.
We're doing a double take? Yeah, because that's not actually Brad Pitt, and he's not actually posing for pics in a hospital.
Boy, you're in the know.
A 53-year-old French woman says these images, created with AI technology, scammed her into forking over $850,000 to someone she believed was an ill Brad. The woman detailed the con in an interview with 7 to 8 on French TV channel TF1, which was removed from the channel's platforms after she says she was cyberbullied over falling for the scam. She claims a person posing as the actor's mom DM'd her on Facebook, and a month later, the fake Brad started communicating with her himself, asking her to marry him, ditch her husband, and help him out with some medical bills he says he couldn't afford because his money was tied up in his divorce to Angelina Jolie. In the sit down, the woman explains that, quote, "At first I said to myself that it was fake, that it's ridiculous. But I'm not used to social media, and I didn't really understand what was happening to me." The woman, who was married to a millionaire at the time, ended up leaving her husband to pursue a relationship with the faux Brad and was duped into sending over the cash. As for how she finally caught on to the scam, when she came across a snap of the A-lister with his girlfriend, Inez de Ramon. She has reportedly filed a police report. Quote, "I ask myself why they chose me to do such harm like this. I've never harmed anyone. These people deserve hell." This comes months after the real Brad reacted to scammers stealing money by impersonating him. A rep for the actor telling ET in September, "It's awful that scammers take advantage of fans' strong connection with celebrities." Brad's team adding, "It's an important reminder to not respond to unsolicited online outreach."
So yeah, that's a really good example. A lot of money involved with that. AI, involved with that. People are looking for romance, and if you think you can be with a celebrity, they'll use that to their advantage as well. So yeah. And we'll go over these last one, couple quickly because we're kind of running out of time. But if you got an MFA, please turn it on, especially for your banks. If you got biometrics, that's one of the safest things you can use. No, the government is not trying to steal your fingerprint because that's what some people say, that they don't want to do it, don't want to use it. But most of the stuff, like I said, Apple iPhone, it's stored just directly on your phone, from what they say, and it's not sent into the web in any kind of way. So some of the things that the MFA can be bypassed. Like I said, you get tired of doing it in multi-factor and you just turn it off. Like every time you log in, oh, I gotta look at my phone. And then I gotta log into like an authenticator. After a while, people get tired and it's like, I'm just gonna turn it off. And then that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting just for that. So yeah. So this is just the overall review, recognize, report, protect, slow down when you're on the internet. Don't just be clicking through a bunch of emails. It's like that lady at the beginning, clicking on whatever ads you see on there, and then report it. And then if you have to, change your passwords, freeze your accounts if it gets that far. That is pretty much it for our presentation. Like I said, I really hope you leave with just being more safe browsing on the internet and being aware of phishing scams. So yeah, we have can you go back one? So yeah, these are some of the links that say safeonline.org or Have I Been Pawned. Yeah, it's kind of like if you want to scan those QR codes later on, they'll take you to some more information. Right, and yep, that's our wrap up. And is there one more? There's one more slide. Sorry.
Like Kahoot?
Okay, at this time,
Does it work?
if you can go into kahoot.com.
Is it .com?
Where's this?
Oh, sorry, kahoot.it. They have an interactive game to go along with the lesson.
What you guys are doing at the ballgame last year?
There's one
Sometimes it's a limit. The first 10 people probably get in.
PJ. So we're gonna see who's gonna get the highest score on here. See if you guys walk away with all the knowledge that we presented today. Hopefully, this will be a good test for you to see where you stand and where you might need to work on if you have some weaknesses in your safe browsing.
The winner gets a backpack.
The winner gets a backpack. So there is merch.
Always remember, speed is important as well. Okay, and we're going to start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
The best part.
1.
It's so cute.
We're ready, go.
Right.
These are brought me coming to
Phishing and cybersecurity basics.
loading.
Okay, which of these is a red flag in a phishing email?
That's not fair.
Oh, which is not.
Yeah, but see, we got it right because
It changes the question big time.
Nice.
You're a little, yeah, it's messed up.
Okay, let's see your vision. Hey, love that backpack. Get those answers in. All right, a target to steal sensitive information. That is the answer. And we have, ooh, Ian at the top. Nice.
First question.
Okay, what is the main goal of social engineering? All right, manipulate individuals to gain confidential information, of course. Hey, you got some people at the top. Okay, you see HTTP instead of HTTPS. The website, what does this mean? Yes, the connection is not secure. HTTP, sorry, is not secure. So just remember that. What does a VPN mainly protect you from? Interception by third parties, of course. Oh, VPN creates that tunneling, so don't forget about that.
Wait, what's up?
Third, yeah. It's the third place.
Let's go. Because I'm second. Teachers know.
Very good. Make sure, yeah, make sure you get it.
So we have one more. One more. One more Kahoot for y'all.
Okay, I'm not gonna play this time.
This one is for funsies and for a cup.
Oh,
Well, maybe I will.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, cause he had a.
There's another one.
about me when
And then you came back to. Yeah. We were like, oh, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, and we're gonna start in 10,
It's called
9,
something.
8, 7, 6,
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start. Sound like the guy from Hunger Games.
Yes.
You remember. That's how we're all together.
You're doing $100.
Next month. Yeah.
What is the best way to keep a password secure?
Tell Kiinbej.
Write them on a post-it note.
Password manager.
Alright, so it was stored in a password manager, you know, that way you can have.
You'd be surprised
That's
how
what my
many
grandma
people,
did. That's what my grandma did.
you'd be surprised how many people put it under the keyboard on their notepad. Don't do that.
Remember, it's not good for all my sites, so I don't use it. I've got one. I forgot
Which of
the main password.
best example of a strong password? Yes, everyone got it right.
Hey.
Which of the below is not used for multi-factor authentication?
Wait, no. Something you have, maybe? Wait, it's not. What's it not? That's a trick question. Something you are.
I'll explain it.
All right, we got a mixture on here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question.
Okay, okay, so this is a security plus question, basically. Something you have, my phone, whenever you get a one-time password, that is something you have. Something you know, your password, you know your password.
Where your security question answers.
Something you are is fingerprint.
I'm sorry.
So something you do is like, I do my job, that's not really an effective way of, oh, I'm a student, so that should give me access. Well, not really.
It's close. Warning, if you see the
What do
warning
you do if you see this warning?
on your computer. Update and warning.
Alright, we got update and restart.
Yes, I see a few updates. Usually, the reason you want to do an update and restart is you want to boot your computer again, so those updates can take hold. That's why you want to restart most of the time.
DJ got bumped.
What are the 3 steps we should remember when we receive a suspicious email?
We don't need that much time.
All right, stop thinking protect, yes, stop. If you think it's suspicious, think about it, is it true, is it something that I asked for, something I requested? And protect is sending out information to report the scam or phishing.
When do you need to use the laptop security lock? Just that's fine.
Oh, everybody got.
All right, pretty easy.
Smart people.
Yeah.
I'm on the podium, it says.
Great.
Which of the following could pose a threat to your identity and information?
All right, everybody got all of the above. Signing
They
up to
didn't.
download free software can be risky.
Yes. And as a fun side note,
No.
you can buy, you say non-familiar face in the access controlled areas of our office without access, what would you do?
Body got in, what are you gonna do?
What do you want to do? Let's get shots. Yes, sir, call security.
Yep, but if you pick the green one, you would not have been wrong as well. Scream yellow until they leave.
What should you do if you find a USB or thumb drive? I'd plug it in.
Never know what's on there, could be something really good.
Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Could be a million Bitcoin.
free game.
Thought about throw it away.
That's
Trash.
Yeah.
I would scan it and wipe.
Which of the following is a suspicious email?
Dang, great. I know, but I didn't finish reading it.
All right.
Now I'm
A little
kicked off.
tricky, but the answer is both A and C. You should never sign a document on someone else's behalf unless you have power of attorney. And that can.
Even then, it's a
Yeah.
No, just that last one kicked me off.
And face. All right.
Please, come to Tiger Den, claim your prizes.
Yes, and we can go to the last slide.
Mhm.
Hopefully with all this information, you guys are leaving as new cyber defenders. Here with us to prevent spam, using
Yeah.
VPN, stop phishing, and just staying generally safe online. So I appreciate you guys coming out, and I hope you guys enjoy the presentation.
Okay.